Hi students and families! Welcome back to our virtual class where we teach you mini lessons of math that you can do easily at home. So we've already learned so much about place value as well as counting numbers up to the 10,000th place. So proud of you guys what we've learned so far. But today we're going to be focusing on rounding numbers, what they are, how we could use them, and some different strategies that might work for your student at home. So what is rounding? Well, rounding is a tool that we're going to use that'll help us get easier to work with numbers so that when we're using them in our math problems, it'll make it more smooth to solve. Why is rounding useful? Well, when we round numbers, it makes them approximate. So it makes them a lot easier to do things such as solve bigger problems with those numbers or to graph them. So let's take a look into some different strategies that you and your student can do at home that will help you get started with rounding.
So now we're going to make a place value chart. To do so, we're going to make some different columns. The first column is going to be our ones, our second column is for our tens, and then our third column is going to be for our hundreds. For the purpose of the example, we're just going to go to tens. For our first example, we're going to use the number 42. Now we're going to look at the word problem and see where it wants us to round to. So in this case, it's the tens place. So now we're going to underline the focus number, and then we're going to circle the number that will affect that focus number. So the first thing we're always going to be asking ourselves is it 5 or more? So we're going to look at the ones place for that answer. In this case, no, it's less than 5, which means that we're going to round down. So we're going to erase the ones place and replace it with 0. So the next number we're going to be using is 47. So we're going to underline that tens place. Then we're going to circle the ones place because that's what's affecting the tens that we're trying to round to. And then we're going to ask ourselves again, is it 5 or more? So in this case, yes, it is 5 or more, which means that we're going to again turn it into a 0, but this time we are going to go up for the tens place, which means we're going to make this 4 a 5. So for this strategy, we're going to be using a number line. So we're going to look at our number 63, underline the base number and circle the number that will affect it. And then we're going to make a number line and label it from 0 to 9 because those are the numbers that can be put in for the ones value. So once we make that number line, we're going to plot that ones value into our spot. And then we're going to look at the number line and see if it's closer to 0 or 9. Now we see that it's closer to 0, so we're going to round down, erase the 3, and make it a 0.
All right, now that we've learned how to round numbers, let's do a quick review. So first, we always start with making our place value charts. Then we're going to input our number that we're using. For this example, we're going to use 86. With the 8 in the tens, and the 6 in the ones. Okay, our second step is to underline the place value that we're working with. In this case, we're going to be rounding to the tenths again. So we're going to underline the 8, and then we're going to circle the number that affects how we round, which is in this case going to be the ones place, the 6. Then our last step is to decide, is this place value that we circled greater or equal to 5? Well, this is a 6, so yes, it is greater, so we're going to round up. Change this to a 0, which means that we're going to bump the number next to it up to a 9. Ta-da! And that's it. We learned how to round today to the tens place. Everyone did an awesome job, but definitely just keep in mind that what works for one person might not work for someone else. So definitely experiment with different strategies Email me if you have any questions whatsoever. I will be sure to answer them as quickly as I can. And I hope you guys have fun with rounding. I know I did. Great job, everyone.